From the outside, Sammamish can look like one giant neighborhood, but once you start driving around, you realize each part of the city has its own personality. Over the years, I've spent a lot of time showing homes around here and getting to know each of these neighborhoods, and they each offer something a little bit different. Today, we're going to tour 3 of the most popular neighborhoods, Trossachs, Aldarra, and Klahanie. And by the end, you're going to have a pretty good idea which one fits the way you want to live. By the way, if you're thinking about moving to Sammamish or anywhere on the east side, that's what I help people with all the time. Feel free to subscribe because I've got a lot more neighborhood tours, relocation guides coming, and if you have questions about your own move, my contact information is down below. All right, let's take a look at Trossachs. First up is Trossachs. So if you've spent any time looking at houses in Sammamish, most likely you've come across this neighborhood. It's one of the city's larger master plan communities. And for a lot of buyers, it's where a lot of them start their search. As far as home prices and housing goes here, most homes in the Trossachs area fall within the 1.8 to 2.6 million range, depending on size updates and whether that home backs up to open green space or has a view. There's plenty of mountain views around here. There's certainly homes that sell above that range, but that's where I see most of them selling, right in that range. One of the things I really love about Trossachs is the consistency. Most of the homes were built in the late 90s through the early 2000s, so you don't have one house from the 1960s sitting next to a brand new modern build. It gives the neighborhood a very cohesive look. You'll mostly find 2-story homes with 3 to 6 bedrooms, 2 to 3 car garages, and plenty of square footage. If you're looking for that classic Pacific Northwest suburban home, this is probably what you're picturing. Now, when it comes to lot sizes, compared to many other newer developments, the lots here are actually pretty generous. Most homes sit on somewhere around a 1/4 acre, give or take. That gives you enough room for a backyard where kids can play, a patio for entertaining, or just a little more breathing room before you and your neighbors. Of course, there are some homes on smaller lots and some on larger estate style properties, but overall, it doesn't feel overly dense. One thing people don't realize until they drive through here is how much the elevation changes throughout Trossachs. So depending on where you're located, some homes have incredible territorial views, they've got Cascade Mountain views, or even peekaboo views toward the valley. Not every house has them, but if views are high on your priority list, it's definitely worth paying attention to which part of the neighborhood you're looking in, because certain sides of the street have them and then the other side does not, so you'll want to keep a close eye on that. Trossachs is very walkable within the neighborhood itself. There are miles of sidewalks, trails connecting different sections, and it's common to see people out walking dogs, pushing strollers. That said, it's not the kind of neighborhood where you're walking to grab a coffee or dinner. Most errands are still going to involve hopping in the car for a short drive. So the parks and recreation here, one thing I really like about Trossachs is how easy it is to actually get outside and enjoy the neighborhood. It might sound like a small thing, but Trossachs is surprisingly stroller friendly. If you spend some time around Sammamish or Issaquah, you know there are quite a few neighborhoods with some pretty serious hills. Pushing a stroller around in those neighborhoods can turn an evening walk into a workout pretty quickly. Trust me, we've got 2 boys in a double stroller. We've definitely learned which neighborhoods have flatter walking routes. Trossachs is much more forgiving, and there are sidewalks throughout the community, relatively gentle grades, and plenty of walking paths that make it easy to get out and walk after dinner. The heart of the neighborhood is Trossachs Community Park. It's right here behind me, and it's right at the entrance here. So during the spring and summertime, it's one of the best parts of the community. You'll often find food trucks set up on Friday evenings, the ice cream truck making its rounds, and community events that bring neighbors together. It's one of those things that give Trossachs a true neighborhood feel instead of just feeling like another subdivision. Beyond that, you've got basketball courts, tennis courts, playgrounds all over the place, and plenty of open space for kids to run around. One feature I don't think gets talked about enough is that the back of this neighborhood connects directly to Soaring Eagle Regional Park. From there, you'll have miles and miles of wooded hiking trails, good for running and mountain biking, and it's pretty unique to be able to just leave your house and head into one of the Eastside's best trail systems without ever getting into the car. We're gonna go check that out as well. So there is an HOA here, and that's one of the reasons that Trossachs has stayed looking so well maintained over the years. Depending on which section of the neighborhood, you're looking at dues typically around that $70 range a month. As you drive through Trossachs, you'll notice the landscaping, common areas, parks, and entrances are all kept in excellent condition. The HOA maintains many of these shared spaces, including the parks and trails we've been walking through today, and honestly, they do a really good job. Everything is clean, beautifully landscaped, and consistently maintained, so you can actually see where a good portion of those HOA dues are going. Of course, living in an HOA means there are rules you'll want to review before buying. If you're someone who wants complete freedom to repaint your house, make major exterior changes, or park certain vehicles in the driveway, it's worth taking a look at the guidelines before making an offer. For most buyers considering Trossachs though, I found it's a trade-off they're happy to make because it helps preserve the appearance of the neighborhood and supports long-term property values. As far as the commute goes, one of the reasons Trossachs have been so popular over the years is its location, especially for people working on the east side. From here, you're typically about 20 to 35 minutes from Bellevue, depending on traffic, and Redmond and Microsoft's campus are an easy drive. Amazon and Meta and many other major Eastside tech campuses are all within a reasonable commute. If you're commuting into downtown Seattle, you're generally looking at 35 to 50 minutes, although that can definitely stretch longer during peak rush hour if you're crossing I-90 or 520. For a lot of buyers though, Trossachs ends up being a nice balance where you're far enough out to enjoy larger homes, quieter streets, and more green space, but you're still close enough that commuting to the east side or even Seattle a few days a week is very doable. Who buys here? From what I've seen, Trossachs tends to attract buyers looking for a little more house without jumping into some of the higher price points you'll find in parts of Bellevue or Medina. A lot of families are drawn here because of the larger homes, the park, and the neighborhood feel. I've also worked with buyers relocating from out of state who wanted more space than they were finding closer to Bellevue or Kirkland while still keeping a manageable commute. Personally, one of the things I like most about Trossachs is that it feels established, the mature trees have filled in, the landscaping has grown up, and the neighborhood just feels settled. Some newer developments can feel a little sterile for the first few years, but Trossachs has had some time to develop its own character. Now, if you like larger homes and beautiful streets, but you're looking for something that feels a little more exclusive, let's head over to Aldarra because it has a completely different feel. Now, if you like Trossachs, but you're looking for something that feels a little more private, a little more upscale, just a few minutes away, right at the beginning of the neighborhood here, is a neighborhood called Aldarra. And while these neighborhoods are really close together geographically, they have a completely different feel. One of the first things you'll notice driving into Aldarra is just how quiet it feels. The roads wind through mature trees, the homes sit farther back from the street, and everything feels a little more tucked away. Home prices. Aldarra is one of Sammamish's premier luxury neighborhoods. Most homes here are going to fall somewhere between the 2 to 3 million range, with some of the larger custom homes selling for even more. You're not going to find a lot of production homes here. Many of the properties were custom built, which means there's a lot more variety in the architecture and floor plans. One of my favorite things about Aldarra is that very few homes feel identical. You'll see Northwest craftsman designs, modern farmhouse influences, traditional estates, and contemporary custom homes, all mixed together in a way that gives the neighborhood a lot more character. Many homes feature expansive windows to take advantage of the scenery, high-end finishes, and outdoor living spaces designed to blend into the surrounding landscape. As far as lot sizes go, another big difference compared to Trossachs is the lot sizes. Homes here generally sit on larger lots, giving you more privacy and a little more separation from your neighbors. If you've been looking at neighborhoods where homes feel packed together, Aldarra is probably going to feel like a breath of fresh air. Now, the views. This is where Aldarra really shines. Depending on where you're at in the neighborhood, you'll find sweeping views of the Cascade Mountains, the golf course, forests, and rolling hills. Even if your home doesn't have one of those panoramic views, many properties back to protected greenbelts that create a very peaceful setting. The golf course. This deserves its own section. Of course, the centerpiece of the neighborhood is the Aldarra Golf Club. Even if you're not a golfer, the course adds a lot to the feel of the community. It creates open space, beautiful views, and a sense of privacy that's hard to replicate. If you are a golfer, well, having one of the region's premier private golf courses right outside your front door is a pretty incredible perk. Walkability. Aldarra is definitely walkable, but it's a different type of walkability than Trossachs. You're probably not going to be walking from park to park or seeing quite as many people out with strollers. Instead, this is the kind of neighborhood where people head out for a quiet evening walk, enjoy the scenery, or take in the views. Parks and outdoor access. One thing I really like is that even though Aldarra feels tucked away, you're still just minutes from many of the parks and trail systems that make Sammamish so popular. You've got Beaver Lake Park, Soaring Eagle Regional Park just at the end of Trossachs, Duthie Hill Mountain Park right when you pull into the neighborhood, neighborhood, and numerous hiking trails are all just a short drive away. So getting outside is really easy. The HOA, so like many luxury communities, Aldarra has an HOA that helps maintain the entrances, landscaping, and all the common areas throughout. The dues are generally a little bit higher here than what you'll find in Trossachs. They're about $150 a month, but you're also paying for a neighborhood where the landscaping, shared spaces, and overall appearance are maintained to a very high standard. As always, I'd recommend reviewing all the HOA docs before making an offer so you understand any architectural or guidelines or restrictions you might want to be aware of. So as far as the commute goes, it's pretty similar to Trossachs. Expect around 20 to 35 minutes to Bellevue, 20 to 35 minutes to Redmond, and roughly 35 to 50 minutes to downtown Seattle, depending on traffic. The combination of privacy without feeling disconnected is a big reason people are willing to pay a premium to live here. Who buys here? From what I've seen, Aldarra tends to attract buyers who aren't necessarily looking for the biggest house, they're looking for the setting. Maybe they've lived in Bellevue and want a little bit more privacy. Maybe they're relocating from out of state and want something that feels tucked away without giving up access to the east side. If your priority list includes quiet streets, mature trees, larger lots, and a more custom home feel, Aldarra is one of the first neighborhoods I'd be showing you. Personally, what I love about Aldarra is that it never feels overly busy, even though you're only minutes from shopping, restaurants, and everything else you need. When you're driving through here, it almost feels like you're out in the countryside. It's one of those neighborhoods where you slow down a little, roll down the windows, and just enjoy the drive. That sense of peace is hard to find this close to Bellevue. Now we've looked at a neighborhood that's centered around privacy and luxury, but what if you're looking for something that's a little more connected, where you can walk to parks, community events, and neighborhood amenities? That's where Klahanie really starts to shine. By the way, if you're watching this because you're trying to narrow down where you should live, don't feel like you have to figure it out all on your own. Most of my clients start with 2 or 3 neighborhoods in mind, and after we spend a day touring together, they usually end up somewhere they hadn't even considered. Sometimes seeing these places in person changes everything. So we've looked at Trossachs, where you're getting larger homes in a really established neighborhood, and Aldarra, which is all about luxury and privacy. But what if you really want is a neighborhood where there's always something going on and just about everything is within walking distance? Then Klahanie is probably going to catch your attention. Klahanie has a completely different feel the moment you drive in. Instead of winding roads and large estate homes, you'll notice more people walking outside, walking, kids riding bikes, neighbors out with their dogs, and families heading to one of the many amazing parks. One of them is right behind me here. It feels like less of a subdivision and more of like its own little town. So home prices and housing. One of the reasons Klahanie has stayed so popular over the years is the variety of housing options. Depending on what you're looking for, you'll find everything from condos, townhomes, and single-family homes. Most of the single-family homes today are selling somewhere in that 1.2 to 1.8 million range, while condos and townhomes offer a lower entry point in the neighborhood. That variety of housing means first-time buyers, growing families, and even downsizers can all find something here that works. So some of the different home styles here, most of the homes were built in the late 80s through the early 2000s, so you'll see a mix of traditional Northwest architecture with mature landscaping that's had decades to grow in. The homes generally aren't as large as what you'll find in Trossachs or Aldarra, but the trade-off is that you're getting a neighborhood that's built around community amenities. And the lot sizes. The lots here are definitely a little smaller than Trossachs or Aldarra, but that's intentional. The design encourages people to be out spending more time in the neighborhood rather than just staying in their backyard. Walkability. If walkability is high on your list, this is probably one of the strongest neighborhoods in Sammamish. You can actually leave your house and walk to parks, playgrounds, sport courts, the community pools. They have indoor and outdoor pools, elementary schools, and even Klahanie Shopping Center is just right up the road here for coffee, groceries, or dinner. That's something you just don't find in every Sammamish neighborhood. Most neighborhoods you need to hop in the car to get any essentials at all. Parks and amenities. Honestly, I think this is where Klahanie separates itself. There are dozens of parks scattered throughout the neighborhood, miles of walking trails, multiple playgrounds, basketball courts, tennis courts, and pickleball courts, baseball fields, soccer fields, and several community pools. Throughout the year, you'll also find neighborhood events that bring people together, and because everything is connected by sidewalks and trails, it's easy to walk or ride bikes almost everywhere. If you have young kids, this is one of those neighborhoods where you can spend an entire Saturday without ever leaving the community. Schools. One reason Klahanie has remained popular with families is its proximity to several high-regarded schools, many of which are within walking or biking distance depending on where you live in the neighborhood. So Klahanie also has an HOA, and because there are so many shared amenities, you'll definitely see where those dues are going. The HOA helps maintain the parks, pools, trails, sport courts, landscaping, and common areas throughout the neighborhood, which is a big reason everything continues to look so well cared for. Like any HOA though, you'll want to review the governing documents for buying, but for many homeowners, the amenities more than justify the monthly dues. So for the commute from Klahanie, you're typically looking at 20 to 35 minutes to Bellevue, 20 to 30 minutes to Redmond, and around 35 to 50 minutes into downtown Seattle, depending on traffic. You're also just minutes from Issaquah, so grocery stores, restaurants, Costco, and I-90 are all really convenient. Who even buys here? From what I've seen, Klahanie attracts a pretty wide range of buyers. There's first-time buyers purchasing townhomes here, families looking for a neighborhood where their kids can walk to parks and friends' houses, and even empty nesters who want a place where they can walk to grab coffee or get outside without getting in the car. It's one of those few neighborhoods that really appeals to people in completely different stages of life. Personally, if somebody told me they wanted to spend more time outside, wanted a neighborhood where they could actually walk places instead of driving everywhere, Klahanie would be one of the first places I'd show them. What I like is that it feels active without feeling busy. Every time I've been here, there are people walking, kids riding bikes, neighbors talking at the parks. It just really has a welcoming energy. So after touring all three, here's how I'd think about it. If you want the biggest homes and a more traditional Eastside neighborhood, I'd lean toward Trossachs. If you're after luxury, larger lots in a quieter setting, Aldarra is hard to beat. But if your priority is being able to walk to parks, pools, coffee, and neighborhood amenities while being part of a really connected community, Klahanie really stands out. The good news is there's really not a wrong answer. It just depends on what fits the way you want to spend your day. Hopefully this gave you a better feel for what makes each of these neighborhoods different. The truth is there's no single best neighborhood in Sammamish. It really comes down to what matters most to you. Maybe you want the larger homes and established feel of Trossachs. Maybe it's the privacy and custom homes of Aldarra, or maybe it's the walkability and community feel that Klahanie offers. If you're trying to figure out which neighborhood fits your budget, commute, or the way you actually want to spend your day, I'd be happy to help. My contact information is here on the screen. It's down in the description as well. And if you'd rather chat face-to-face, just scan the QR code and schedule a Zoom call with me. Whether you're moving next month or just starting your search, I'm always happy to point you in the right direction. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.